Enter good face shot for the for the beginning of the club. Hi, I'm Anaya. I work as a coach, supporting people with chronic illness to live better lives, and I'm also a teacher, which I still do because I love it. And this is Erin.
Hi. Yes. Like Anaya
General
said, my
Erin.
name is, General Erin. My name's Erin. I don't know what I am. I think that's a great question. Maybe that could be our topic that we discuss. I have no idea what I am. I'm trying to
Mm,
create anew what I am in the moment. Was currently on disability from long COVID,
yeah.
was a public education teacher in the public school systems, but my body has definitely said no more. And so now I'm looking at new avenues for creation
For
and
me,
bringing income and for, helping people, and that sort of thing.
and I completely relate to that too, because I remember, when was having the experience of chronic fatigue, I remember feeling really angry at teaching and my management because of the pressure that they put on me, the pressure of the job, the system, how it's set up, and feeling like, if they hadn't pushed me so hard, and obviously I had something to do with that, but I remember
Yeah,
going through a phase of feeling really angry at my work for supporting me to get into the place that I got into, and then thinking,
right.
I never want to teach again. I don't, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do this to myself again. And for a while, I completely let it go because I just
Yeah.
didn't, I couldn't conceive of a way that I could do it that would be healthy, that I would have balance, that I would
Hmm.
be able to, uh, thrive in the world and not get home every weekend and just feel completely flattened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
yeah.
I can't say never that I would ever go back to it, but just right now I know I can't. And I feel like I've put this like box around like what are my possibilities and opportunities, and that box has always been my only option is public education.
Mm,
And I say
interesting.
bullshit. I call
Yeah,
bullshit on that. So I'm calling bullshit on myself actually,
yeah,
because there has to be other ways.
yeah.
There's a lot
Mm.
of people that have a million different types of jobs and they aren't public educators. So I'm just looking at different ways to apply my gifts and talents and all that kind of
And
thing. So,
that's the thing too, because this whole chronic illness experience, and for me, chronic fatigue followed by a year of freaking awesomeness, living the dream, just getting shit done. Um, and then I had, diagnosed with RA and not being able to walk and all that kind of stuff. And each experience has been learning for me. And if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting the same result. So I had to really
mhm.
reinvent myself and be different in the world. Otherwise, I was
Mhm.
going to get the same shit happen again. And man,
Yeah.
two
Mhm.
rounds is enough. I'm saying, no thanks, universe. I've learnt this lesson. I bloody hope I have. No more, no more, no more.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Right.
it is that whole, yeah, reinventing yourself and
Mhm.
um bringing more of yourself to the table, being, more authentic and
Mhm.
learning about what that means and what that feels like and what that looks
Mhm.
like for you. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is the great thing, about being in your 40s and 50s. You just
Mhm.
start really embracing yourself and who you are um,
Yeah.
in so many ways. And yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that
Yeah.
both of us learn by doing rather than
Yeah.
seeing someone else do it. But
Yeah.
that's the path, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay.
Mm,
Like it's all okay.
yeah,
I just know that this organ up here, I sometimes say it's totally useless and it's actually making things worse because it thinks it has to solve the problem, fix the problem, know the answer. But
yeah,
there's way more creativity within the universe than what my limited brain can come up with. So it's
And it
just
thinks
being
it can do
open,
that too, which is hilarious.
surrendering. Yeah, just
Yeah.
surrendering to the fact that new things can come my way. Because it's kind of like I joke that like all I ever have known is like public education. So it's almost like all I've ever known is this like so-called bad marriage or bad relationship. And so I just keep going back. But the truth of the matter is like, no, like you just don't know what's next, really, truly. You don't know what's going to happen forward motion, but it's the only direction I can take because going back to what I used to do, just it
Yeah.
doesn't work anymore. So
Yeah,
I
and it's
can't.
almost like it's a soothing mechanism that we get into the habit of using for ourselves, that we know what's going to happen so that we
Uh-huh.
can feel secure and safe in the world.
Oh, it's a self,
Um,
like, yeah, it's
yeah,
self-defense. It's like a
yeah,
defensive protective mechanism that doesn't work.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
telling,
And
spitting out lies.
it's just not true. And there's this
Like,
quote,
shut
which
up.
I always misquote and I always completely forget, but it's always the idea, the feeling behind it's always stuck with me. And that's the best way to make God laugh, is to tell him what you think's going to happen, or
Yeah.
him or he or she, um,
Yeah.
like as if you can predict and control the world. And
Hmm.
we just can't know, really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it, but to then accept that we can't know,
Hmm.
is to really move and step into trusting,
Hmm.
trusting the universe, trusting what's going to happen. And in order to
Yeah.
do that, yeah, it's that we have to feel safe. We have to feel
Yeah.
safe in our bodies and safe in our world. And
Mm.
uh, I don't think most of us, I would say, probably definitely a majority of people probably don't. And
Hmm.
for many of us, we don't even know that we don't feel safe because we've actually never really felt and embodied what safety feels like in our bodies,
Right.
what a
Yeah.
regulated nervous system feels like, what being regulated emotionally feels like.
Right.
I've gone off on a tangent here, but that's fairly
Oh
normal.
no, it's all good. It's all good. That's why this like somatic EMDR certification
Hmm.
program I think is so good because like there's like a piece of me that just like wants to take my head off of my body, put
Yeah,
it off to the side and
yeah,
just feel everything from the neck down and
yeah,
like really like tap into that and just really feel what my body is saying, what my
yeah,
body is communicating, what does it want to tell me, what do I need to listen to?
yeah,
Um, and listening to more of that.
yeah.
I mean, of course, the brain plays a role in some positive things too,
Mm,
creatively and intellectually. But I think it 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 takes over way too much
mm.
bandwidth.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And it's a tool. It's a tool that we can
yeah,
use to
yeah,
to help us and to support us. And we
right.
have to
Yeah,
recognize that there are aspects of it that aren't helpful as well.
no,
And I'm
not at
totally
all.
with you on the somatic felt sense of the body and the wisdom in the
Hmm.
body. Um,
Hmm.
we just don't stop very much during our day. We just don't
No.
stop and allow the space for our bodies to actually speak. And
Hmm.
definitely a lot of what I do is really building that relationship with the body, um, so that you're allowing space to listen to it and be heard. So it's like your best friend. You talk to your
Yeah.
best friend, you allow them time to answer. You don't just like butting and go blah 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 blah. But that's kind of like
Hmm.
what we do, really. Yeah, we're just talking over
Yeah.
ourselves, talking over our body, talking over our innate wisdom, talking over our
Yeah.
intuition, just what
Yeah.
I'm doing now, talking, talking, talking.
Right.
Did
Hmm.
I tell you I did a Vipassana retreat once where you don't
What?
talk at all?
Oh, like a
Yeah,
silent
silent
retreat kind
retreat.
of deal.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
just realized how much of what I said was just completely unnecessary. Obviously, it didn't
Mm.
have a lasting impact.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is interesting. And
Yeah.
those moments of pause during the day, and I try to do it as much as I can, three things I see, two things I hear, one thing I feel,
Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
my mind, taking a snapshot and just like describing to myself what's in front of me. Those are the
Mhm.
things that I think about before I go to bed, and those are the things that I remember about my day.
Mhm.
When I don't take that pause and I, you know, write my gratitude list, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, what happened today? It was just like this big
Yeah.
thing, just this big thing
Uh-huh.
happened. And
Yeah.
it in those pauses, they give me that holiday feeling, when you feel like
Mhm.
you're on holiday and life is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really. So I'm definitely working on, that's what I'm working on at the moment. Practice
Yeah.
pause.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, one of the psychologists said something that I thought was really profound. And I mean, I totally get it. It's not like it's a new thought or anything like
Mm,
that, but just this concept of that our mind operates way faster than our body. So the speed in which our body can handle something or process something or metabolize something is just, or want to do something. The
mm,
mind might want to do something a lot faster than the body does. And really trying to, again, to not rush the
mm,
body because the
yeah.
body may have a totally different message. Um, what I'm learning is that my body has a lot of strong no's. Like
Oh,
it
interesting.
does not want to do something.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't
No,
want to
just
do
like
this.
not now. No, not now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not now.
So how does that
Yeah.
feel? How does that show up? How does that feel for you when you get that no? How does it feel in your body?
When my big thing is kind of like the self hug. So if I'm like holding myself and hugging myself and really like asking it, like, what is it that you want? A
Yeah.
lot of times what comes out is, I don't want to do anything.
Uh-huh.
And, and
Yeah.
then I have to say, I hear you.
Yeah.
And
I'll
we're not going to do
respond to
anything.
you. I won't
Yeah.
override you. I've
We're
got
not going to
you.
do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of think the amount of stuff that we're asked to do in a day is just asinine.
Oh, it's
Like I think about how I
insane.
used to operate. It used to be like, oh, I'd get like 8 things done in a day. And now I'm like 2 to 3 things. Like if I get two
Yeah.
to three things done, that feels like an accomplishment. And then there's time in between to
Yeah.
like let my body
Oh, yeah. It's like
unwind. Yeah.
being asked to operate like we're a 22-year-old person that's ovulating all the time. And it's just
Mhm.
like, and there's this,
Yeah.
we don't, of ourselves and society, we don't respect where we're at in our,
Yeah.
life cycle, or even in our menstrual cycle, or even in just feeling a little bit tired. We don't
Mhm.
respond to it. Oh, okay, I did a lot yesterday. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
take it easy and take
Yeah.
the foot off the gas a bit today, rather than,
Right.
oh great, I did a lot yesterday. I'm gonna hammer today. I'm gonna get this
Yeah.
shit done again. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's society, but it's a habit. We've got into that too because we're beneath our awareness. Um,
Hmm.
got into the habit of overriding and driving ourselves, and 100% for me with chronic fatigue, like it's quite hilarious when I look back because um a, a little bit before that, one of my best friends died, and so I was really thinking about, you know, what can I take from this experience? And definitely one
Hmm.
of the things was that, life is precious, and that
Yeah.
I don't want to be working my ass off and be completely exhausted and not have any time for me and,
Yeah.
and for my family and for doing the things
Right.
I love. And so I thought, right, I'm just gonna, for the moment, I'll work part-time and I'll also do this, but the other stuff was sort of I can choose to do it or not. So I had a basic part-time job. And so I did that for a while, and that was really great. And I got a really great balance. And then I got offered this teaching job that I did not want, that I knew
Hmm.
that I didn't want it. Like I knew that the person, my team leader and management, I knew that they were just, it was everything to them. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want my job to be I mean, I love it, but I loved it. I didn't want it to
Yeah.
be everything. So I took
Yeah.
a job I did not want. And
Mm-hmm.
then at the beginning of the year, it's like, okay, I've got this job, but I'm not going to let it get in the way. I still want to do my
Mm-hmm.
adventure races this year. So
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm going to do. Everybody else seems to be able to manage a full-time job and do all the other stuff that they love on the weekends. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to ignore being tired. No shit. I seriously, consciously thought this, and I can remember. I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
train for this adventure race. So I was getting up at, I don't know, 5:45 in the morning. I'd just get up. I'd go near to my workplace. I'd go for my run. I'd go for my swim. I'd eat my breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
go to work, have a go to work. Nah,
Yeah.
maybe I'd do some training in the evening. Although honestly, I got home at close to 6 anyway, and I was shattered.
Yeah.
And it was a new job, so there was a lot of learning involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I just drove myself relentlessly. And even though I was tired, I didn't want to give up my dream of adventure racing. I didn't want to give
Mm-hmm.
up. And so it took, really, it only took 3 months for me to start falling apart. My sleep cycle got completely messed up the wazoo. I was so tired. And when I'm tired, I am 100% a crier. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
get very emotional. And
Mm-hmm.
I lose that sense of emotional regulation and stability. And
Yeah.
and then from then on, for a bit, it just got worse and worse and worse for about 6 months. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was so poked, which is, I guess, New Zealand slang for tired, that I had to get my husband to drive me to work and pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still
Mm-hmm.
working a full day. I mean,
Right.
nuts. Like I went
Yeah. Like in
crazy.
hindsight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So totally hard on myself, push myself relentlessly,
Yeah.
a good dose of perfectionism. And, a lot of people that develop chronic illnesses have these personality traits, and it is not a
Mm-hmm.
coincidence. And so that combined with all sorts of other things just led
Mm-hmm.
to my downfall. Um,
Yeah.
which once you're through it, you can look back on it and go, yeah, you know what, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. No, I
Right.
wouldn't necessarily want to live through it again, but knowing what
Yeah.
I know now and knowing how it's changed how I inhabit the world, um,
Mm-hmm.
what I know of myself, how much I love myself, how much
Yeah.
passion I have with myself, I would I
Mm-hmm.
would probably do it again. Um, the rheumatoid arthritis stuff, yes, there's so much good stuff that came out of it,
Yeah.
but no freaking way. I'm not doing that again. It was
Yeah.
pain, sucks so bad.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
consuming and just horrific and awful. And
Yeah.
yes, it really brought me back into my body, into my physical
Yeah.
body, and helped me get really clear on what I feel like and my energy. And for that, I am so grateful. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no thanks.
Yeah.
I'll do that again.
I just did a YouTube video that I titled Why Did You Manifest That? What a shitty question that is. Because
I
I've
just saw
had
that.
people I've had people like insinuate that it was kind of like a shame-based question, like, oh, do you not love yourself enough? Or um
Nope.
do you feel like you don't deserve good things?
Mm,
Or I think that's a
mm,
bunch of bullshit. I totally disagree with that. Like I feel like there is some element of cause and effect. There's some element of um no, I did not ask for this. No, I
yeah.
would not want to do it again. Hell no, would I want to do that again? I can take
Yeah.
what I experienced and say, what are the lessons? But
Yeah.
to say that, like, I got sick because I didn't love myself, like,
Yeah.
that's just a bunch of shame-based bullshit, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think
Um,
I'm
yeah.
I I guess I agree. And from my experience and my perspective, I differ. For me,
Hmm.
I don't think it's up to anyone else to say that. If
Yeah.
that's what you come to, that's what you come to.
Yeah.
And it's these I don't think these I think, yeah, I know it's just such a horrible thing to say to someone, If
Well,
someone if
I
someone
had a
says that
friend
to
that,
themselves for themselves,
yeah.
it's different. And I know from me, from my experience, not anyone else's, nothing to do with anyone else. For me, I didn't love myself. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to be my own best friend. And so I've
Hmm.
been really well schooled in that now. And
Hmm.
that's an ongoing lesson. I mean, I think you can always love yourself more, I reckon. I believe.
Yeah.
And so for me, with the awareness that I have for me and my life, um, I understand there is an aspect that of me, of my soul, of my spirit, that absolutely
Hmm.
chose this for me, and that I do
Hmm.
believe it happened for me. But I'm certainly not going to come to anyone else and say that. And
Yeah.
saying that is akin to for me, it's akin to that whole oh, embrace the pain, love the pain. It's like
Hmm. Yeah.
it's just
No.
like how to shoot someone when
Well,
they're
they
down,
are not in
right?
pain. It's like, yeah, when you're not in pain, you have the luxury of saying something like that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, they don't have any clue the extent of pain that
Yeah. And
you're referring to.
yeah, to give that person a bit of credit, she had been in pain and it was
Hmm.
a few years ago. And so she had come to the place, or I think also words matter, right? And so
Hmm.
the way that she said it and the language that she used for
Hmm.
me was just like, no, no way, can't
Yeah.
do that. Mm-mm. So I
Yeah.
had to, what it did do for me, which was really great, is it got me thinking about, okay, how can I talk about my relationship with this pain, the stuff that's going on in a way that feels okay for me? And so what
Hmm.
I came up with for me was a part of me, because I believe in, alternate dimensions and realities and just basic
Hmm.
quantum physics, really, many, many versions of myself. So for me, I framed it as a part of me is having the experience of pain.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, other parts of me are climbing Mount Everest and kayaking the
Hmm.
Kaligandaki and,
Yeah.
a black belts in karate, or maybe they've got a businesswoman in a fancy suit. I can't really imagine that one. But anyway, everything's theoretically possible, right? And so when I framed it as a part of me having this experience, all the many, many other me's were able to come and really embrace that part of me that was having this really hard experience. And it enabled me to
Yeah.
feel in a way that I never really experienced before, to really feel compassion for
Hmm.
myself and for the experience that I was having, and
Hmm.
to really love and honor that part of me that was willing to have this experience for the benefit of all parts of me. And
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
I actually, you know what, I am grateful for her for saying that, because if she hadn't said that, then I wouldn't have found that. And
Yeah, sure.
that strategy gave me so much comfort. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, at the
Hmm.
time I was like, fuck off. And I
Yeah.
think I
Yeah.
actually
No,
did that to her.
I
I
mean, my
did.
body was, I said that basically what you're telling me is there is a house on fire over there. What I'm telling you to do is go stand in that house on fire and just stay there. Like,
Be
and I'm
okay with
like,
it.
I mean, that was the excruciatingness of the pain that I was experiencing. And for somebody just to say, like, this is accept it, embrace it, like it was impossible. Like
Yeah.
it was not
Yeah.
something that was
And you are where
um
you are, right?
yeah. Hmm. So it's almost like you just want to hear validation, like just
Yes.
validate my pain.
Yeah. And
Don't
sit
tell
next
me I
to
need.
me and hold my hand
Yeah. Yeah.
while I'm in the fire.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because,
for
and that's
sure.
the thing, with pain, you cannot bypass pain. You cannot
Hmm.
spiritually bypass it. You cannot
No.
physically bypass it. You cannot mentally bypass it.
Hmm.
If anyone's got a way of bypassing pain that they know, then please, like, mention it in the comments.
Right.
I would love to know it. Not that I am having that experience now, but uh, yeah, I can't think of a way of bypassing it. It just
No.
so thoroughly all consuming on so many
Yeah.
aspects of your being.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Mm,
But that it's also like a double-edged sword, because if you're afraid of the pain and you're bracing from the pain and you're
yeah,
trying to avoid from the pain, then you're causing more pain.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that's the
yeah,
tricky double-edged sword of it, is that unfortunately you do kind of have to
yeah,
feel it,
yeah, you
because
go
it's
through
not
it.
going to get to an ending completion point of healing if you're
Yeah.
just like bracing to keep it away.
Yeah, and then while
But
you're
it's a
feeling
bitch.
it, there's that fear as well, eh? And the
Yeah.
unknown, because you don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know
Yeah.
if it's ever going to end.
Right.
And the utter devastation and despair of that. And it's almost like you have to go into that, it's really even hard to inhabit that space and trust that it will end,
Hmm.
because every part of your body is almost in survival physiology. And
Yeah.
it's like you can't get your head above the water enough to go, hey, it's okay, it'll end eventually. Trust me,
Yeah.
it'll end eventually.
Right.
You just
Yeah.
you can't
No.
even access that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are a lot of resources out there that can hold out some hope. I think that's what's
Mm.
always helped me, that I've always been able to find the resource that shows me that they were once where I was at, and
Yeah.
just hold
Yeah.
on a little bit longer. And
Oh,
that's been my life raft, is other people who have had similar experiences
mm,
and have kind of seen their way through it. But
mm,
I still go back to like, I don't want to do anything that makes me feel like I did something wrong in my
yeah.
past way of being. Like, I just, nothing, just being gentle with ourselves and just saying, well, what do I do with this scenario? What do I, how do I work with it? But like
Yeah.
any kind of harsh voice to yourself, criticism to yourself, like just don't do that to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's happened. This is what's happened.
Yeah. No
Learn
right,
from
no
it.
wrong. Just
Yeah, try and
what's happened,
operate differently.
what works, what
Yeah,
doesn't work.
but exactly. Yeah, it's because I could be digging for all the reasons why I could have gotten sick, but it's like the
God,
truth
yeah.
of the matter is I just got sick. Like,
Yeah. And then you spend all
and
your day in the rabbit hole rather than healing,
yeah,
or many
yeah,
rabbit
yeah,
holes.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I mean,
kind
and
and
I think,
gentle voice.
yeah, and we all, like we all come out of these things differently, and we all have certain beliefs, I think, too, about whether we need to understand something or not. Some of us
Mhm.
don't believe we need to understand something in order to move forward, and therefore we don't need to understand anything in order to move forward and to heal.
Mhm.
Others, and I think when I reflect, there's definitely a part of me that believes I need to have a certain level of understanding, I think,
Mhm.
before moving forward. Maybe that's a belief that I need to, change, get rid of. I certainly have someone in my close sphere that is very rigid in her beliefs that she has to understand everything in
Mhm.
order to move forward and make it, to evolve, to make progress.
Yeah,
For me, it's just
sure,
evolution.
sure.
But yeah,
Yeah,
self-limiting belief, but we don't know what we don't
everyone's
know.
different. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm.
And just everyone's different how they handle things and
Mm.
how they want to move forward or how they want to process what happened. Like some people get a divorce and they're just like, I just want to move forward. I don't
Yeah.
really want to, and then I was very, very much like self-reflective about my divorce process.
Mm.
And some people are just like, I just don't want to relive that part of my life. I just kind of want to move forward and it
Yeah.
happened. And I think that's fine too. It's just whatever somebody's
Mm.
personal preference and how they want to navigate the world. But um, yeah, I think it's just respecting that no two people are the same and how they
Mm.
address things and see things. But as long as you're coming from like a loving, compassionate place,
Mm.
trying to understand versus saying, nope, nope, you're doing it wrong. Like,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know,
and I mean, I'm definitely really sensitized to being told that I'm doing something wrong. It's that,
mhm.
that like good little girl at school sitting up,
Yeah, yeah. Oh
not
yeah.
talking, listening to the teacher, and yeah, like I can, even if I just sit and I can still viscerally experience the feeling of being told that I'm wrong or I'm doing it wrong. I remember my teacher when I must have been 7 or 8. She got really angry that I was reading Enid Blyton books, which seems a bit weird because I was reading. Surely that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
she didn't like them. There's something about them she didn't like. I think my mum actually had an altercation with her about that one. But I was being told I was wrong, and I had no idea why. And yeah, I just had no idea why. And I can just remember all this energy being directed at me as if I had deliberately done something, as if I'd gone like that to her or something. It was so weird, but
Yeah.
can remember that sense. And I'm
Yeah, it's like the
definitely don't
shame-based
react.
conditioning of schools. Yeah. Yeah, the shame-based conditioning of schools that we all experienced. And the one of the doctors that is running this somatic EMDR program, he was just talking about, he's like, this is a program. He's like, we're supporting you and we're lifting you up. We're supporting you and we're lifting you up. That is what this whole certification program is about. There's no tests, there's no
Mm,
right and there's no wrong. We're not going to tell you you're doing it wrong.
mm,
We're all in this together. We can, co-pilot this experience in a
mm,
way that, like, if you're fumbling, like, that's all a part of the process. And if you're
mm.
like just sitting reading an EMDR script and you're reading it verbatim and sounding like a robot, like, that's just where you're at in the
Yeah,
process, and it's
yeah,
totally fine. And I just remember thinking my shoulders just dropped because I
mm,
wasn't used to that. Like,
yeah,
I'm not used to that being the way schooling occurs, you
mm,
know? And it just felt like this is the way it should have always been,
mm,
like, and you just think of your education and just those times in the classroom where you were told to stop talking, stop,
mm,
like, just like hand slap, hand slap, hand slap, hand
mm,
slap, like over and over and over again. Just,
mm.
I mean, and from a teacher's perspective, I can kind of understand because you're trying to manage like 30 some bodies. And so it's hard. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you're just like molding and conditioning these little humans that,
Oh, yeah,
they're just babies.
yeah.
And
I
so it's
know.
like, yeah. So just when he said that, we're just supporting you and lifting up, that's like the whole program is just support. There's no shame. There's no, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
pretty
really
beautiful.
interesting. That's so
Hmm.
cool experience. And actually touched on something there too that I've spent a lot of time thinking about is, the ethics of teaching.
Hmm.
Because, I'm probably a bit of a rebel myself in terms of what I think and how I think. Rebel, I'm such a bad ass. And so, I really struggle with conditioning kids.
Hmm.
But at the same time, when you're there, there are structures and procedures that make teaching doable in the current framework, which is,
Oh yeah.
face it, is
Hmm.
kind of a factory because that's what our countries can
Yeah.
afford. Um,
Yeah.
Move to Finland. And yeah, it's like this balance between allowing personal freedom and allowing the kids to show up where they are, how they are, and
Hmm.
explore who they are
Yeah.
in a way that's safe for all of them. And,
Yeah.
kids might show up how they are, where they are in a way that
Right.
is not safe for the other kids,
Yeah.
physically or whatever, if they, into biting or hitting or whatever still.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's such a balance because yeah, I want to feel in alignment and consistent with my values. And it's kind of like, well, how do I do this? How do I work in this profession, in this space in a way that still honors the kid and tries really hard not to condition them the way that
Hmm.
society wants? Because yes, so much of the education system, like on one hand, well, certainly when I think things are different now, definitely. But I remember, going through school well, actually going through teachers college, come to think about it, they were like, oh, they want you to be innovative and creative and amazing and come up with all these ideas and challenge this and that. And then you get into a school and they're like, don't freaking talk. We don't
Yeah.
want to know your ideas. You're a new teacher. And I mean, I was a new teacher when I was 30, so I'd had a little bit of life experience. It's like, no, we don't,
Yeah.
we don't want to know. We don't want to, up the boat. And then you spend years in the system, and then you realize that
Yeah.
stuff, it just literally goes round and round and round on the cycle.
Yeah.
And that's, most things have a growth cycle. That's totally normal. And certainly we have cycles within our lives and within our professional lives and our personal lives and our bodies. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a balance. Such a balance. I don't know
Yeah.
where it's going with that, but there you go.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
even
it's
know if I
just,
made a point then, but
yeah. I just
honoring
think
our
it's all,
cycles, maybe.
yeah. It just seems like everything's all ass backwards in my opinion, but I don't know.
I haven't heard that expression
Ass
before.
backwards. You've never heard
Yeah,
that?
tell me about
I
what
don't
I
even
said
know what it
ass
means, ass
backwards, but tell me
backwards.
about
It's
ass
just
backwards.
the like the ass backwards is like what's considered normal isn't normal.
Oh, that brings me to this quote that I'm bringing up the quotes today. Can't remember who it was. David somebody wrote this big doorstopper book, and what he said is, it's not a sign of good health to be well adjusted in a profoundly sick society.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, getcha.
What's defined as normal is
Yeah,
ass backward.
yeah. Not normal, not
Yeah,
desirable even.
yeah,
I mean, what's normal is, I mean, you talk about profoundly sick on lots of different levels. Um, I can't remember, what statistics
well,
are there? I mean, what
yeah,
percentage of
well,
the population is in pain, physical pain? What percentage of the population has mental health challenges or is on Prozac? What
yeah.
population of the dogs that people have are on Prozac now? I mean, how fucked up if we're creating a
Yeah,
society where our dogs, our pets, have mental health
yeah,
issues. I mean, that is
right.
really messed up.
Yeah,
What percentage of the population have developed lifestyle illnesses, things that are completely within our power and our control to
yeah,
change?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
nuts. We're
yeah, yeah.
nuts.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think about it and like I'm on Prozac and like Prozac has been like a game changer for me. Like
Mhm.
it took me so long to get to the point where I tried it
Mm.
and I almost didn't do it because so many people, or not so many people, I just had some naturopath people
Too many people, too
dissuade me,
popular.
just dissuade me from doing it. But
Mhm.
then at the end of the day, I had to make that decision to try it. And it was a massive game changer for my inflammation in my brain.
Mhm.
It was huge. It was huge.
So
So
tell
it's like
me more
again,
about
I just
how it felt pre and post. What did you notice?
massive
Yeah.
vertigo. The vertigo went away once I finally got on the
Really?
Prozac.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
But I think again that it just boils down to individual people. Like we're
Mm.
all so different. Like even from like a chemistry standpoint, like you really as a human being need to come to your own truth.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's different. And like I can get input from other people, I can get feedback,
Mm.
but at the end of the day, I have to come back to myself and say,
Mm.
what do you think? You know, like what do
Mm.
you need? You know, and it may differ from the suggestions that other people give you. And I'm so happy when I do listen to myself and
Mm.
try something that potentially somebody is telling me don't do.
Yeah.
Um, because they can give me their insight from their perspective and their lens. But at the end of the day, they're not living my experience.
Mm.
So I have to trial and error what's right and what's wrong. But that was kind of a tangent. It was really kind of going against even what we were talking about. But it just made me think about the Prozac thing because
Yeah.
I had the fasting guy that was just like, don't get on Prozac. It just numbs you out. And I was like,
Yeah.
fine, you're right. I shouldn't get on it. But I was dealing with horrific vertigo and dizziness and losing my hearing.
Yeah.
And I had seen a lot of research studies on long COVID and people using Prozac and it helping because of serotonin decreases.
Mm.
And I was like, and I was in a really bad place mental health wise too. And so I got to the point where I was like, fuck it, I've just got to try it. And it's been a game changer. And will I be on this forever? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And
temporarily it's been
sometimes,
great.
and you've been in that situation, and so have I,
Yeah.
when you're faced with shitty decision and shitty decision, which is the
Yeah.
shittiest? Which
Yeah,
is the
totally.
least shitty, right? Oh, okay, I'll
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
least shitty one. And it is
Yeah.
hard, and your back is against the wall. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to find a way through, and that might be taking the meds. And I mean,
Respite.
I
I
have
call
to
it
do that
respite.
too.
Yeah. Respite. It's like respite from the experience. Like if you are in such excruciating situation and you know that there's something that can cause some sort of respite, like
Mm.
it's okay to do that, you know, like know that this isn't something that you want to do forever, but
Mm.
if you just need a timeout from this horrible experience and there is something out there that can help you with that, then
Wiggle room.
yeah,
What did you call it?
yeah,
Rest.
respite.
Oh,
Respite just
respite.
means like,
Oh, gotcha.
oh, New
I mean,
Zealand.
no, I'm not correcting how you're saying it. I was just like,
Yeah,
is she
you call it
saying
respite.
respite or oh, she's saying respite? And I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't
we
know what
call it
that is.
respite.
But yes, I do know what
Respite,
it is.
respite care.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally. And then when you have that tiny little bit of wiggle room, it enables you to make
can breathe.
choices and to
Yeah,
respond. And that's a
yeah,
really hard thing with being in the shitstorm of the illness is
yeah.
you're at a time where you're feeling the crappiest you've ever felt in your life, maybe,
Hmm.
but you're having to make some of the decisions which also feel like the biggest ones that you've ever had to make in your life. So
Yeah.
you have these big decisions to make, but a very limited capacity to make them. And
Hmm.
it's really hard to make them.
Oh, it's so
But
hard.
you kind of need to make it almost doesn't matter what decision you make, you just have
Yeah.
to make a decision, and then that will lead you on to the next decision and then the next
Right.
decision. And it can be
Yeah.
too easy to try and uh, think about all the what ifs and how it might pan out, and again to try and plan or predict what's going to happen or predict what your
Yeah.
thing's going to look like, and
Yeah.
to think that you've actually got any idea how this is going to change.
Right.
But
Yeah.
change is good, right? Generally speaking, most change is positive and it leads to a better place. And then maybe you've got a bit of
Right.
wiggle room, a few more options, and then you make another
Yeah.
decision. Whoa, even more wiggle room, a few more options. And then suddenly you can start coming out of that whole, survival crux,
Yeah.
place, and calm down in your
Yeah.
body, take a breather, collect
Hmm.
yourself, and then be able to access a little bit more
Yeah.
your body and stuff. And I mean, I
Yeah.
tried, with rheumatoid arthritis, I tried not to take methotrexate.
Methotrexate, right? Yeah,
Yeah, for
exactly.
a couple of months, and
Yeah.
oh Lord,
Yeah.
I
Same,
mean,
same.
I know someone that didn't take it for, it was like a year. I mean, I lasted 2 months. I mean, he was, whoa, like
Yeah.
crazy committed. And I'm not crazy. I'm just actually in awe of his capacity to cope with what he must have been having to cope with, because
For
I
that long.
bottomed out very quickly.
Yeah.
I like to frame it as I was a quick learner.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I found lifestyle nutrition and lifestyle program at the same time as I started taking
Hmm.
methotrexate, and I very, very, very quickly started getting good results. And
Yeah.
you go on it and you're told, oh, you have to be on this for the rest of your life, and all these
Yeah.
things that just make you go,
Right. Exactly. Sure.
but
Yeah.
yeah, and not true, not true. Um,
Right.
who knows, right? But I was on it for just over a year, and I've been off it for close to a year now, and I am
Yeah.
sweet. Like, oh, this is my big my big
That's
announcement. Da, da,
awesome.
da, 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 da. I've taken a new sport, a new hobby, because I love sport.
Yeah.
I've taken up Taekwondo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's so fun. Like you
That's
turn up
awesome.
and there's
I have a
5-year-olds.
whole bunch of
Yeah,
friends that their kids do taekwondo, but
yeah, and so
that's
they're
great.
mostly kids, and there are 5-year-olds that are more
Okay.
senior than me, so
Oh,
they're
that's
like telling
awesome.
me what to do and go, no, you
Oh,
do
that's so
it,
cute.
no, no.
That's awesome.
And so
I
I
love it.
actually really, yeah, I really love that shift of the power balance, you know.
Yeah.
I'm now
And
the
even just
adult
a
that's the
movement.
beginner, and I've got these
That's cool.
little people who
Yeah.
I teach at school
I love
who
it.
are the boss of me.
Yeah.
Um,
That
and
is so great.
yeah, it just makes me laugh. I really,
Yeah. It
and
sounds, yeah.
I really love because I have to, you got to use your brain as well, and you've got to get your brain and your body sort of working in sync.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
really love that aspect of it. And actually, one of the reasons why I did it really was to really bring myself in alignment with where I want to direct my energy
Nice. I love it.
and
That's
how I
great.
want to direct
Yeah.
my energy. Yeah.
I
So
always think about getting into
loving it.
more of those kind of like martial arts types
Yeah.
of activities or just energy movement or like
Yeah.
qigong or something like that. But I haven't delved too deep into that world, but I just think it
Yeah.
would be so beneficial.
Yeah, because I've never done anything, any martial art.
Yeah, me
It's all
neither.
about the biking or
Mm-mm.
the running or whatever. So
No. Yeah.
that's why I get called that now, pow pow. I've given myself that nickname. No one else has given that nickname, but
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
yeah, pow pow.
Yeah, I love it.
Um,
That's great.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I can't even put my finger on why I love it so much. It just
Oh, I
seems
think
to
it's
turn everything
fantastic.
upside down in a way that
Yeah,
I
cool.
find humorous, which
I
matters
love it.
to me, and fun.
Yeah, it's just so much movement, it's and it's somatic, it's the body,
Mm,
it's getting out. I mean, I know you have to use your brain, but you
yeah.
really are too getting out of your head also. So
Yes. Yeah, there's
it
a
just,
certain
yeah.
amount at the beginning, and it's like, okay, I'll get the movement pattern. That's the movement pattern. And then your brain has to take a step back and you
Yeah.
have to really harness your power and,
Uh-huh.
like really direct your energy
Yeah.
and force.
I
So
love it.
yeah, once you've got that movement pattern and that intention there, then it becomes the sort of the more intuitive responsive body sort of stuff comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So I have to get going. I have another meeting, but we
Mm.
should do this again sometime and maybe we can explain how we know each other, how we came into each other's lives,
Oh, that's a
all the
good
way from
idea.
New Zealand to
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Michigan in the States.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
How we've come together.
Yes. Lovely.
That could be
And
our
also,
next video.
we're hoping that people watch this for anyone out there. We're hoping that people
Yeah.
watch this, that get
Who
something
knows?
from it, that benefit from it in some way, that it provides some light, some insight, some inspiration, some feeling of camaraderie, of community, of you're not alone, of something that it touches you in some beautiful way that makes a difference to you and into your world. And please, yeah, comment below. And we can invite people to our coffee conversations as well in the future.
Yeah.
We don't have any specific
No,
split into. And we
this
would
is an experiment.
this is one of life's great experiments. So we hope that you'll
Yeah.
come along for the ride.
Awesome. Cool. All right.